Good evening, friends. I'm Oleksiy Tarasov, but that's not the main thing, because next to me I have Iryna Tsilyk. She is the author and the filmmaker of one of the most long-awaited films in Ukraine. The Earth is Blue as an Orange. It got a directing award on Sundance Festival. You can watch this film online as part of DocuDays Festival. Uh, I think the time frame is from the 24th of April until early May. Yeah, but that's not our film. The Earth is Blue as an orange you can see during the day until 6 p.m. tomorrow. And you have to make it. It's very interesting. And Irina will tell us what this film is about. Oh, Alexei, we start straight ahead. Irina, for those who haven't yet seen the film, we also have a festive bread who is called Irina. Alexei, during these years, I have had an opportunity to prepare for this question, and there were different answers at different stages. Actually, I have a number of answers about what is this film about. On the surface, it's about family. It's an extraordinary family. A mother and four kids, incredibly talented kids. They live close to the front line. Despite all circumstances, they're trying to survive a normal, l- live a normal life, and they try even to make their own films. But it's our film is about different things, about how people work with individual and with population trauma. Well, at least that's what I read in one of the reviews, and I like that idea. Irina, so you find out things about your film from critic reviews. Yes, Alexei, because the critics have their own perspective on our film, and then you can find the ready answers from their articles. I don't know if I should ask you online about this film. You have been asked about it before, and it's a tried thing. We haven't seen people for a while with this distancing, and we have distance big enough between us so that the police wouldn't fine us. So we are law-abiding citizens. But how are the protagonists surviving the lockdown? So there's Anya, who is the mother, and she is the matriarch of the family. There are two boys, Yaroslava and Nastya. So what is happening to them during a lockdown? There's one news that overshadows the rest because there are five kids now. Anya gave birth to another child a couple of days ago. The new child, it's a girl, is with them in their house right now. Yes, it's a girl. And our crew is excited to find out that everybody is healthy, is at home. Yaroslava is now residing in the city of Kiev. She's studying here. Yeah, she stayed here during the lockdown, whereas the rest of the family live in the village of Krasnohorivka. And the mother and the child returned home. And this was a very good news. Irina, that's right. It's time for good news because there are so many restrictions. You can't do this, you can't do that. And you're one of the filmmakers who actually follow up the protagonists of their films. There are two types of directors. Some of them just make a film and forget about this and move on. The rest follow up their heroes and they're in contact with their heroes of their films. Oleksiy, I believe that documentary, well, first and foremost, you must be really interested in people about who you're making this film. And sometimes these people who started as heroes now become your friends and even close relatives. There was this point I was taking a taxi to come here to the DocuDays studio, and some of the heroine from my previous film wrote to me that she saw my recent film. She shared her impression. Irina, what did she say? Oleksiy, she thanked me and said that she would be more specific later because she was in the military. She was one of those who defended Ukraine. You know, never mind my soft words, but it's true. So she's a protagonist from our film, The Invisible Battalion. Uh, she's been there, and done that literally. Because, I mean, I wish I could know more about her impressions of the film. I hope she'll share them with me later. Iryna, you talked a lot about how you created the film, but maybe our audience doesn't know that yet. So you met Miroslava and Nastya in a film camp. So could you let us know how it all started? So this is the make of. So these protagonists are making a film about their lives back in 2014. And you document what happens to that family, the filming process. Well, this is not the spoiler, because the film ends with the first night of that film they're making. How did you meet them? I first met Miroslava and Nastya in one of the Yellow Bus camps. I was invited there to show my short documentary week. They came up to me, they said that they loved the song, and I was the lyricist. And I remembered them because they were benign beings, very open. You can't forget Nastya's smile. And then our producer, Zhanna Kapustina, was actively involved in the Yellow Bus project. What is a yellow bus? The yellow bus is not only a film camp, it's an educational program that involves different filmmakers, and they teach kids from near the front line to shoot films. And at first, we wanted to make a film about the project itself, and we probed and looked at different teams. We wanted to make this group portrait. But then things changed. Accidentally, we came over to Miroslava's and Nastya's place and met their mother and brothers. And then it just happened to be that we could be more subtle in telling the story of one family and how cinema helps them survive this near war life frontline. I hope that we went for the right decision. And as a director, I wouldn't have been capable to do a group portrait because it's one of the most complicated genres. On top of that, it's so interesting to follow this family, to watch them. You can do it indefinitely. I mean, we could have made a documentary series. Thanks, Iryna. You know what they say about documentaries? They say that it's a lot of chance there, that you have to seize those chances and film them and document them like a documentary photo. You know, if you were quick enough to capture that moment, then you've got a nice film. So, what are those lucky chances or lucky coincidences? One of those coincidences was when you met Miroslava and Nastya as part of that camp. Can you name any other coincidences during the shooting that gave you the clue on how you want to make this film? It's an interesting question. I don't have a prepared answer for it. I was thinking about my role as a director. So, the subtlety of director's art is to make right choices at different stages of making a film. These choices concern different areas, choosing protagonists, but also sometimes they concern details like anything you want, closed caption design, what have you. And working involves some planned moments, but also hunting for these coincidences and chances. Because I believe the magic of documentary is about capturing this real moment. Sometimes you can't even imagine where it's going to take you. On one hand, you need a clear plan because shooting without a script is a little bit wrong. Well, it's an understatement. It's terribly wrong. So a director needs to stick to a story, backbone of the story. But especially if you're making a film portrait, you need to spend time observing to seize those moments of life that are the magic of the documentary. Irina, how much time did it take to shoot the film? I know you were spending a lot of time with that family. We talked about it in a different interview. Regardless, you mentioned I had a lot of material, but you didn't use all of that. Because sometimes they shoot tons of things and then out of those thousands of hours, they just make 1 hour and 20 minutes. How much time did you spend with that family? Obviously, generally, it was during a year, from spring to another spring. But I'm not one of those filmmakers who are shooting everything and anything. I'm trying to be selective on what to shoot, what not to shoot. But it's actually the cinematographer in a documentary is a creative caterer, is the decision maker on when to switch the camera on what to look for. So it would depend on the arrangements between us and how we respond to what was happening. Well, yeah, we didn't film that much. I think it's a couple of dozens of hours compared to my colleagues. Take Terrence Malick, Irina. We know he's filming everything. Yeah, sorry for interrupting you, Irina. Oleksiy, I can't promise I won't change my process for the next film because I don't know how I'm going to work, what my artistic method is going to be. I tried my hand at this method this time. Next time, I might change them. Irina, what do you mean when you say I don't know what sort of filmmaker I am? Do you mean it's about certain theme or do I don't know portraits? What was this? The guy who did about film about Amy Whitehouse and Whitney Houston. Actually, I'm addressing the audience right now. If you have questions for Irina, and you might come up with those that are a lot more clever and interesting than mine, feel free to send those questions with so that I could ask this question. So, what do you mean by saying you don't know what sort of filmmaker you are yet? Oh, let's see. This is my debut. Irina, your fans. Well, Oleksiy, yeah, I tried my hands at smaller projects, but this is my first full-length documentary, and I actually love what I do because I never learned this thing. I never learned shooting documentaries. That was interesting because on the one hand, I made some mistakes.
These are my people that became my friends that I trusted a lot. And when I say that I don't know something, I'm talking about the fact that I want to try different genres and I want to know a lot of other stuff that I want to use to figure out what is my thing to do. And I will never say no to myself because I have this fear to fail, and now I have the fear of creating the second movie. It's like the syndrome of the second movie or the second album. It's always it always happens like that, especially if the first try, your first project was really successful and you got some award for it, for example. It's really scary to move on and get to your next thing. Irina, can you learn something? I think the viewers also know that Irina is also a writer. Do you think that there's something that you can learn from the syndrome of the second book? and extrapolated to this sort of syndrome of the second movie, because you had this experience when you had your first book published and then you had to release the second one. Do you think there's, well, my question is, what do you think you can learn from your literature experience in filmmaking? I think it's a better question. Well, the fear of the second book is a completely different question. I also think that I'm a beginner in literature, even though I have several books. There's some poetry, some prose, some kids' books. At the moment, I'm not really writing anything, and my publisher is not really happy about it. But I think it's natural to have certain periods when you're collecting stones and then you're throwing them around and you're collecting some material. At the same time, I think it's really nice to be a beginner all the time. Maybe one day I will grow into this feeling of being into maîtresse, into being the master of this. Well, I think it's really good to feel this power to learn something and maybe teach someone else something. Getting back to the filming process, we understand that when you're shooting a documentary, there is a huge factor of daring to shoot something. For example, when people are emotional, when they're crying, you understand that you're sort of intervening in their personal space, this closed life. How do you solve this issue for yourself? How did you understand that this moment needs to be in the movie, even though it's emotional? How do you convince yourself to do this? Well, I've had my mistakes, and there were some good decisions as well. So it's this moment of decision that you have to make. For me, still, filmmaking is not just making a movie and then people's relationship is separate. It's all together, it's mixed. And as we were building these relationships between us as the protagonists, it was very important to me. And I was, at certain points, I had to balance this relationship out. And sometimes I didn't know myself if I wasn't doing something right. I was afraid of manipulating my heroes into doing something I need for the movie. And in these moments, I had this certain inner oppression. I understood that I was not doing something right, and I could tell by the faces and by the reaction of the people around me, and I had to step back. However, I had different situations. I've talked about that before in few interviews. It's like any kind of relationship, love, friendship, anything. You kind of explore the area you can go in. But in general, if you're trying to base this on certain principles of honesty and trust, something very, very real, very truthful grows. This movie has been created with love, and it was very genuine. Anyway, a movie is still a manipulation, and you understand that. Well, if it's not a manipulation, it's not really interesting to watch. Somehow you're manipulating the viewer because they need to feel what's going on. Well, I need to lead them through this path and sh- show them what they need to see and set certain, and you lead the people that watch the movie. They lead you in this process as well. This is a process that you build together. They manipulate us and they help us with the decision. Well, we had the same situation here because the screen was off and I was trying to fix my hair. Well, this whole situation is very natural because when the camera is in someone's life and we watch real people, they understand that the camera is around and it's a natural desire to look good when you're on camera. And it's not about how much time you spend with these people or how much time they need to get used to the camera, how much time they need to trust you. It's they will understand that you have the power to show them from the angle that you need, because you are, as a director, you put together this puzzle of a story, and this power is very, I don't know, it's kind of strange. It gives you a certain anxiety that you have this instrument and you have this ability to show different stories about the people that you see. Well, the protagonists of the movie are absolutely beautiful. Anya is very beautiful. And I've told you this before, that when you look into her eyes, you can see what is going on. You can see all her feelings and what's going on. She's supporting the family. She's very creative. They're all creating this movie together. They're absolutely beautiful. What did that say? Were there any moment when they were like, "Well, you shouldn't put this in the movie"? Well, maybe you will be surprised now, but Anya hasn't seen this movie yet, even though I really wanted to show it to her. She was waiting for a big screen and she had a dress for the premiere. She was ready to come to the premiere of the movie here in Shopton Cinema, but apparently the plans changed, as you know. And the situation right now is that she can only watch the movie from her mobile phone screen. And I just talked to her yesterday, and she said that she will wait a little bit more because she doesn't want to watch it as a pirate movie, and that it was not. She doesn't think that this is fair to do this. But I still think it's kind of weird because of this, because she is the main protagonist of this movie, and she hasn't seen it yet. At the same moment, however, I'm absolutely grateful that they trust us so much. The girls as well, Miroslava just seen the movie on Sundance, cast at Berlinale, and it's an amazing experience to see yourself on such a huge screen, and it's an amazing experience. How do you like Sundance? Well, I can talk about this long time. The festival is amazing, the atmosphere is incredible, and it seems like everything that has been created there is created to celebrate life and celebrate filmmaking. Everyone is very relaxed. There's no crazy glamour, no red carpet. Even the most glamorous parties are very relaxed. They kind of like take place in a tent or anything. And, you know, it takes place in Utah and everyone just wearing sweaters. But the main thing is that the screenings are full of viewers. That's the main thing. Because, you know how it happens when you come to your own screening and the movie theater is full of viewers. And we also had a good experience with Berlin Alley. I've never seen anything like that. We had a full sold out, about 800 people came to watch our movie. How did this experience change you? Well, you know what I mean. This is your first full feature movie, and you are on Sundance, you are on Berlinale. These are the most prestigious film festivals ever. Did that change you? Well, it certainly has some impact. I had a full range of different feelings: euphoria, fear. I was grateful just for going through this. Just a few days ago, I was talking to Anya, our producer, that at the moment when we were just starting this, we had no clue where we were going to go. And our heroes, they trusted us regardless whether we were going to go to Sundance or Berlinale, or if something would happen a different way. So we are just very happy about this beautiful experience for us and for Ukrainian movie industry as well. But we'll see. Well, SBNL Q&A is always the most exciting part, when the viewers can give you any kind of questions. but this gives you an ability to see how the audience is perceiving your movie, regardless of how many times you've seen your movie yourself. What was the feedback, and what did you reveal to your own self? It's always really interesting to compare how the audiences in different movie theaters and different screenings understand the movie where we were present ourselves. And Sundance was amazing. We also had a screen in MoMA, and it was a very special screening because any little hint that makes you smile made the audience laugh. So they were giving back a lot of emotion. And one of the most unusual screens that we had, we were showing uh, in a small university, in a local university. We were screening there. We were invited. First of all, we were absolutely amazed by the quality of the technical support and everything else. We also figured out that the audience was it consisted of professional filmmakers or teachers because they were asking us questions about Single Bedroom and all possible questions to the sound director and any kind of stuff. And then someone came up and asked us about the scene where a regular rope wasn't going up, was able to go up the hill and then a military car was able to do this. And at the same time, it was really amazing, but we didn't really mean anything by that. And they were trying to see something in this. Well, sometimes we also get in some questions that we wouldn't want to hear. Well, do you have any questions that you wouldn't want to hear? Um, Miroslava was asked once about Trump's politics or something, and we were quite skeptical about this.
The audience are very different, actually. Different questions are asked. Some mean virtue. On the other hand, you must be brave enough to look for the answers, or just be cool and be aware that you don't have answers to those questions. Iryna, your film is a part of cultural diplomacy, especially for this reason that you talk about the fate of people who live in this red zone who are being shelled. And the film opens with the sequence where one of the shells hits the neighboring house. Do you understand? You're actually telling a very personal, intimate story, but there's a wider context. And this context is, well, um, brings your film to a different stages. Is it a burden? Do you know how to communicate these topics to the audience across the world? Honestly, I don't think it's a burden. And over these last years, that lasts, I realized when I go to literature festivals, no matter what audience, no matter what poem I recite earlier or later, questions about politics in Ukraine were asked, about what happened in the east of the countries. So once again, you try to walk them through for something that is obvious for us, but not obvious to those living outside Ukraine at all. Again, I don't think I am the person who has all the answers, and it's very dangerous to pretend you're an omniscient expert who can talk about politics, etc. On the other hand, living in Ukraine here and now, and for all those years, I responded to that actively. I took it to my I can't help talking about this, and I also have my own take, my own opinion about it, and I'm actually open to those questions, and I can respond endlessly. And no matter how solemn I believe cultural diplomacy matters. We, we work on a number of fronts. We talk about abusing these pompous words, but still, requires human control and raise the issues that needs to be discussed across a spectrum of objects. This film provokes discussion, and I think these discussions make sense because in this dialogue, a new energy is born. Our film is not political as such, actually. I mean, it doesn't raise the issue of politics that much. It's mostly centered around some universal questions about how to stay human and how to preserve humanity in dire times, be it war or other tribulations. You know, there are some audience that want more politics, and I was thinking, what could I say to them about it? So your hero is your starting point for every case. In my previous film, The Invisible Battalion, all our protagonists were the military, so they were talking all the time about war, about Russians being our enemies in this war. Whereas in this film, the mother and the kids don't didn't talk about war over the tea, and they wanted to keep the war at bay, not inside their home. They only ever watched the news, and it's okay. Maybe people don't know about it, but in Krasnohorivka, they only have the Russian TV there, even though it's the territory of Ukraine. Ukrainian TV is blocked there. So once again, you're a forced internal migrant because our protagonists will watch films and cartoons, but not news on their TV set. And if they want news, they go on the internet. But our heroes are not the typical inhabitants because the locals mostly watch what they're offered to. It's a different conversation, but my point is that maybe our film wanted to talk about different issues, about what happens to these regular people, how is it living in these circumstances, and preserving optimism and something they can draw on so as not to lose the desire to live at all. Iryna, what is this place, Krasnohorivka? What town is that? Oleksiy, it's actually a very nice place. I liked it. I thought if I saw it before, I wonder, I wish I could see what it ruins as it is today. You see, the war affects the town in different ways. Year one, a lot of people left. They had 15,000. Now there's only three. Many returned later, but nevertheless, the area that is suffered the most is ruined. They to number nine that were affected the most. But it looks like a Chernobyl, so even the sound is changed because the flats are abandoned in the summer. You have waist high grasses. Well, maybe that's what's going to happen in Kiev in 1 month's time, Marina, because everybody is self-isolating, hardly ever looking at their apartments. Yes, let's see. I mean, but you can be the downtown, and sometimes you think, in some places you think it's a live town. But for example, they rebuilt the school right now. When we came originally, I was impressed by having damaged the school because the school was shelled in May 2017 and many people were hospitalized. And honestly, the war is not actually over. And as we were shooting, every time, almost every night, you can hear the sound quite close. shells, and you realize this is their regular life. Sometimes first you're astonished, but you get used to that quickly. But 6 years into the war, and it's not over yet. I'm sure you've taken that question many times. Yeah, the name of your film, The Earth is Blue as an Orange. One might think it's a film about nature, or you know, it's like Sir David Attenborough. I think this guy is like 100. He has the Planet Earth series of things on Netflix. What made you like, what were you thinking with? Is that your question? No, no. What did you want the audience to think as they look at the name of your film? Without context. So you look at the program, what's on? Bad guys, the Avengers, and the Earth is blue and orange. Oleksiy, I didn't think that. I think there are special people, the publicists who are trying to plan everything 10 steps ahead. But my decision making place is located elsewhere. If it clicks for me, it works for me. I love poetry. I think profound should be decomposed and broken down into you don't have to bring the explanation everywhere. You must feel the wider sense. And it's surreal poetry. It's a quote. I think it's a great way to convey the surreality that I was overwhelmed with over there. Maybe it's not surreal, but it's undeniable things combined. You see them continuously in the Donbass region, and for a fresh eye, it's surprising. But for the locals who live there, it became a norm, a day-to-day daily living. And maybe that was the basis of the name.
People that are also trying to figure out an answer 10 steps ahead. In one of the incubators, where there was a lot of very important decision makers from a whole bunch of film festivals, it was suggested that everyone just says yes or no for or against the name, and we were very relieved when they said yes. Well, if that was a circle of marketologists, it would be just Krasnohorivka stories or Donbass something. Well, to be honest, we had a lot of advice on that, but I figured this is the most important thing in doing any kind of workshop. You need to listen to everyone, but be selective who you're taking notes on, because you're always getting a lot of different feedback and you need to make sure that you remember what you want yourself. Iryna, we have a question from the audience. What is going on with the movie 2004, the movie that the family is filming, and what was their thought on documenting their shooting? What was the destiny of this movie? Well, the movie is on hold right now. I'm very sorry to say that. They were filming it, we were filming as they were filming, then they were editing, and they had a screening. Oh, I cried as well. And I will talk about that premiere separately. But then Miroslava went to Sundance. She had a whole change of plans. She figured she wants to re-edit the movie and present it at the festival in a different way. She's kind of a perfectionist, and it's normal. It's a big lesson for any director to understand that at a certain moment you need to let it go and present the movie as it is. But anyway, they wanted to make certain changes and apply to different festivals, but of course the quarantine is in the way of this, and they needed some help from us as well. And now, when they're done with our own movie, we can help them as well, because we were not able to help them with their movie as we were filming our own documentary. It would be just too much interfering into it. And now we can help them. And I think that once the quarantine is over, in like 2023, Miroslava is studying to be a director of photography, and she is filming her own student work now. So I think we will hear about her soon, and we will be very proud of her. So tell us about the premiere of 2014. I figured that it's a very emotional moment, both in life and in the movie. This is the final scene of your documentary. Who were those people watching it? It was mostly friends and neighbors, whoever could come and help. I really wanted to invite more people, but at the same time, in Krasnohorivka, a lot of people are very timid and they would not be ready to just come and watch some movie they don't know about. But it's a moment that touched me a lot. You could hear the blasts in their movie. Their movie starts with a scene of them running into shelter, and I was just standing in the way, in the hallway, in the doorway the between the movie hall, where I could hear both the blasts inside the movie and the blast outside the building. And it hit me really hard that maybe we should do a similar thing, but the viewers also understood very well what was going on in reality and how our heroes live. How did your movie change? And how did your movie change depending on your participation at Sundance, and how the pandemic and the lockdown has impacted the destiny of this movie? Because I know that a lot of people are rooting for it to be very, very public and get big public outcry. Well, first of all, we're still very lucky because we were able to screen it at the last moment, do the world premiere, do the European premiere, and now we have a European premiere as well. You can watch it until tomorrow, 6 p.m. Of course, after that, we kind of felt like we were stopped just as we were getting the momentum, because we had a lot of plans going to different countries and presenting our movies. And some festivals got postponed, some of them are online. Of course, it's very unfortunate that the plans changed this way. However, at the same time, I see a lot of colleagues that have their premiere schedules for now, and I understand that their situation is way worse. And it's absolutely unfortunate that when you present your movie in real life, you can get the real reaction of the audience. Yes, we had a premiere today at Docu Days. It was powerful, but it was just different. Let's say at 6 p.m. the movie was presented, and then at 7:15 we had a blast of feedback. We had a lot of questions. We had a lot of comments. It was absolutely amazing, because you understand that there's a lot of people, even though they had a whole 24 hours to watch it, they were waiting for this very moment. And I understand that there's just a lot of people with their laptops watching it, but we don't know what's going to happen next. Well, maybe you will just visit these festivals next year. Well, we don't know yet. No one knows. Everyone is a little lost right now, and there's a lot of plans that have been ruined. But who knows? Maybe we'll get something out of it. We have another question from the audience. First of all, someone is asking about the major of Miroslava. Miroslava is majoring in photography. She's studying to be a director of photography. Maybe someone wants to know where she's self-isolated. However, we will not tell you that. I have another question. Did you have any kind of critical moments during the filming? Did you get any restrictions about filming in certain zones? Well, we had one moment which I just remembered. We did wrong thing. We went into a zone that we were not supposed to go to. We just walked in. We were about filming an episode that actually made it to the movie. This is Miroslava. She is a low-cost. She feels herself very freely, and she's riding a skateboard with her boyfriend taking pictures of him. And at a certain point, we just realized that we are being watched, even though the buildings around us are kind of abandoned. Point we just saw a man that came up to us to talk to us and ask what is going on. He was very polite and asked us to leave. He said that we were not allowed to be there, but filming in a war zone, you need to understand that there are certain rules that you cannot break. For instance, we had a situation where we saw a poppy field and we really wanted to get a shot of that, but we did not. And they were explained later that we would not be allowed to film there because just about the hills right there were snipers and we could get in trouble. It's a lot of danger that we could put ourselves into. Well, we ended up finding another poppy field which was safe, but what I mean is that you need to understand the rules and abide by them because this is a real war zone and you need to respect the order because without knowing it, you can create danger for yourself and for the military there. Well, apart from that, we didn't have any fights, but of course we were tired. Sometimes we were anxious and worried, but it was very small. None of that was serious. We were all very good friends, and we became this kind of like small community. And then at a certain point, Anya just told us that she wanted us in her house. She wanted to host us. That was way easier for us to film as well. Yes, I can imagine that you probably filmed everything from the moment they woke up. Well, yes, you just film scenes from their everyday life. It's not so formal. You just come to their house and you say, okay, now we start. One of the viewers things for the movie is that it helped her to talk to her children about the war. Another question, is there a scene in a movie that touches you the most? Well, probably the whole movie touches you. It's like you're a baby, but of course, I have some favorite scenes. I have probably seen the movie for about 120 times, and I keep crying every time. I still cry at the end of the movie. I got very emotional, especially now when I look at it with a refreshed look. But I think that the most emotional film and day was when the protagonists were interviewing each other, and the conversations that they had were very honest, and this moment was very special. We were filming a whole day. We had some pauses. We started then to pray, filmed again. But this whole process put us in this weird state where it was a full roller coaster of emotions. I just remember the eyes of my director of photography who told me that finally understood fully why they were doing it. This was the combination of our relationship with the family and the most emotional day for me. We have another question about the filming. Do you have any regrets? Is there anything that you were not able to do? Any plans you were not able to fulfill? I'm the kind of a person that if there's anything that I wanted to film and I could not, it haunts me in my dreams. All the plans that I wanted to implement are a big problem for me. But then at a certain point, you realize that whatever you filmed is the best. I was talking about this about the in other interviews. For example, I really wanted to film Miroslava in her enrollment exams, and Miroslava was against it, even though I thought that it would be really, really important. Miroslava was against it, and it makes sense because she would be very nervous. She would be impacted by the camera here. And imagine you're trying to get a university, you're taking an exam, you're walking into the room, and you have a camera with you and a person with a camera. So she was absolutely right about that. I need to understand that this was the movie and her life in question, and I dealt with that. I decided not to film that, and we didn't lose anything. It was a big lesson for me. But apart from that, of course, we had a lot of plans and a lot of planned scenes. But at the same time, there were a lot of scenes that we filmed spontaneously. For instance, when you were in a train and there's people sleeping on the train. So my director of photography and his son, they got on a plane. They got on a train to Kiev at 4 a.m. and they were filming our protagonists right there. And the train steward came to talk to them, and she was a little worried about that. They filmed their material anyway, and the protagonists were also quite okay with the fact that we were filming them on a train. But it was a whole, it's a whole story, but it's just one little scene. But this one little scene is a big contribution to the whole movie. Well, I think it gives a lot of dynamic to the movie because you show the Krasnohorivka, and then you give a whole new dimension to the movie. I wanted to give you another question, a very simple one where I'll unlock that now, and maybe we have more time to watch movies and all the other stuff. Do you have any recommendations for documentaries that formed you as an artist, or any other recommendations?
Oh, you have to be smart. You have to have a list prepared. Honestly, I saw very few documentaries. I'm only starting. Over the last 2 years, I really started falling in love with that. In the past, I saw documentaries, wasn't that interested because I always watched the feature films. Never imagined I myself could be a filmmaker. knowledge. I'm trying to close those gaps right now to bridge them into knowledge. I mean, it's so different documentaries, and there are so many different ways of making this. One thing that I was thrilled is documentaries using the animation, something I personally would like to try because it's cool. You can use this tool, you can film certain things for different reasons depending on the topic. But then you could add animation. For example, whilst was Bashir, I mentioned it yesterday, I was impressed because documentaries can also be something like that. I didn't know about that, even though I saw some of the other Israeli documentary animation thanks to DocuDays. Films are available on DocuDays beginning April 24 until May the 10th. DocuSpace.org website. You can watch films. The festival is on right now, and you can watch The Earth is Blue as an Orange today and until 6 p.m. tomorrow. But you see, it's a great revival of documentaries thanks to Netflix, Amazon, etc. So we're talking about this crazy Tiger King. It's a series actually. This is 7 episodes. This question from the audience. What are your further plans? What will your new film be about? Do you know? Right now, I pitched a feature debut for the state film agency. You know, the picture that I still ahead, and I'm a little bit scared, but I would like to shoot this film. And it's based on my husband's book, Adam Chapel. His name is Walter. He wrote all sorts of books, but this book isn't finished yet and isn't published yet. But I am in this privileged position of knowing the story. And I set my eye on the story for a long time. I thought, this is filmable. And thanks to the lockdown, I wrote the script in one go, Iryna. So you made the most of the lockdown. That's right, obviously. So he lost a couple of kilograms. Oleksiy, this is so uncharacteristic of me, writing a script in 1 month. But it's a very interesting material. It's autobiography. It resonates, stays with me. It's telling a story of his childhood, tried to become an adult. Everybody has people in life who he or she must forgive, must learn to forgive, regardless of who grew up. Film about the 1990s. I'm immensely thrilled about reconstructing childhood experience. It should be a gloomy about the my goal is entirely different. I'm not going to go into detail about gangsters, etc. I have a vision for a film, and hopefully we'll present it later. We look forward to it present to see you next week. As a reminder, the guest of the Documentaries Festival does not have no idea why I'm looking sideways. So we have time until 9 p.m. 1 minute more, so I give you Iryna Tsilyk, filmmaker, the director of The Earth is Blue as an Orange film, one of the highlights of the program, of the festival program in 2020. You absolutely have to see this film. Yeah, yeah. It's, I for some reason I thought it was 2021 or 2020. Well, anyways, we can forget about that because I'm confined, you're confined at home. We're talking about inspired film. So one of the most highly anticipated premieres of 2020. Ukrainian premiere happened during DocuDays Festival. You have until tomorrow, 6 p.m. you look at what happens on the screen, these lovely characters are going to love them. Thank you so much, Iryna. So digging into this nice thread, you realized and asked the question, what about what happens? Okay, it's time to wrap up. Thank you for the stream. Maybe people should announce that we are no longer live and we should stop talking. Or not. Or not. If we are,